Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
How you doing this morning?
I'm just fine.
Yeah, you just fine. And they call you just fine, or is that your name?
No, yeah, that's my name. A lot of people, I got a million names. Little Tommy, Tommy Jr., Little Snail.
Little Snail.
Uh,
What is Little Snail?
I was the gang leader, like sort of, and but I couldn't run. I was the slowest one on the little gang
And this was where?
in St. Louis, Missouri.
As that's where you
But
was.
I never missed catching a watermelon truck, catching a cold truck. I somehow managed to get out there and catch them. They couldn't leave me.
So when you say that, where were you doing that, and how did that come about? What is a little
Well,
boy? How old were you?
yeah, from 12 on up, you learn to snatch watermelons off the truck. Back then, they had buggies with a horse on them, and they had what they called junk men. Wasn't like now when they had them things out of the store, those baskets. They had these little trucks with horses on them, and people going around picking up rags and iron and all that stuff. And when we see one of them trucks come by, we'll jump up. It was easy for us to just run up behind the truck and snatch a bag of rags off or snatch something off the truck and take it to the junkyard. And that made our show fair for the day.
I know you told me earlier, but tell us once again, what was your mother's name and your father's name?
My mother was named Mally Jones, Mally Royal Jones, and my father was Fred Douglas Jones. Most of my family worked at Monsanto Chemical. They was the largest employer in St. Louis during the 30s and 40s.
You have any brothers or sisters?
2 brothers and 3 sisters. Then, but after my mother died, my father remarried and had 5 more sisters.
Could you tell us a little bit about your brother and sister if you wish?
Well, my brothers were, how would you say, semi-hood. Football, basketball, sports was a thing. And my oldest brother was good. He was a catcher, baseball, football. He was a star quarterback. And I tried to be, pattern myself after him. My other brother was a boxer. He could fight Sugar Ray Robinson. And so I had 2 brothers, man, was well known ahead of me, so I was expected to follow in their footsteps. And we had a sort of little legend, a reputation in St. Louis. I was well respected when I went to high school in another neighborhood. And I grew up just on this side of the law.
Just on this side of the law, huh?
Yeah.
How was I know with me growing up, as a little boy, if I did something wrong, I got my butt whooped. I got spankings and stuff like that. Was that your typical?
Man, I get 3 or 4 whippings every day.
Oh, right. Welcome. Thank you.
Every day, man.
That was part of our culture. It's part of our culture.
Our culture, man.
Tell me, when you first started school, what was the first school you attended?
Dumas School. It was a little what they call doghouse school, down in the lower part of St. Louis, down by the river, right off the Mississippi River. And I really loved it. I loved school up until the part where my mother passed.
And when was that?
That was 1937. I was 7 years old.
You can remember it today?
Yeah, of course. I remember, the day I heard the news.
You mind going through it?
Oh, it was in the middle of the night, and I'm 7 years old, and they woke me up in the middle of the night, and everybody was crying and said, your mother's dead. And she hadn't even been missing. Something was going back like the infantile paralysis or something like multiple sclerosis. And we lost her all of a sudden, man. It wrecked my life. I couldn't even believe it. I didn't even know what death was. And my mother was such a devout Christian. She was everything. I wasn't but 7, and I was the last child. My next sister was 4 years younger than me, and that left me the baby for 4 years. And I really enjoyed it. I was the last son my mother had. And she really took care of me. I was there to go to the store when my other brothers and sisters was in school. I had an older sister and 2 older brothers. And they gave me a lot of play at the house and getting close to my mother. And when she passed, the world just stopped. I couldn't even think. I didn't never want to even know or think about God, because I couldn't contemplate what God was, you know. It really turned my life around. But I tried to please my father. My father was a devout Christian also. And I tried to please him by going to church on Sunday and doing all my devil shit stuff on
And that your devilish stuff started right after your mother passed away?
Yeah, all of the
What was the first thing you can remember doing?
Stealing an apple off a fruit stand. My brother cried till I took it back to the store. He wouldn't steal nothing.
He cried?
Yeah, he cried. You better take it back. I'm going to tell Mama. That's the first thing, that was the first.
Mine was a candy bar.
I wasn't intending to steal it. I thought it was either apple or a cookie or something.
What was the basic meal like at home with your mama when she was alive? When you the dinner meal, what was the basic like?
Oh, it was typical. Pork chops, lima beans and cornbread, Sunday's chicken,
Yeah.
minutes to come. The rest of the week, potatoes and liver and onion. My father fed us good, man.
What did he do again?
My father was a porter at Montana Chemical, a janitor. He was the only one was a janitor. The rest of my uncles was engineers.
How many uncles you got? How many aunts?
About 4 uncles. I don't know how many. It was 11 of them all together.
On your daddy's side?
Yeah.
How many on your mama's side? Do you know?
About 5, but I wasn't familiar with them. They were in Alabama.
What part of Alabama?
Birmingham.
Close to my home. Close to my home.
And they were brought up in Tuscaloosa, too.
What happened when you got to 13, 14?
That's when I went over to change neighborhoods and went up in another part of it.
How old was you there? How old was you there?
About 12.
12? Huh.
And they skipped a grade on me. I had a good, they skipped a grade on me. When I moved, I was in the 5th or 6th grade. And when I got into the new school, they put me in the 7th grade. I was an A student. I was an A student almost up to graduation.
What happened?
I don't know. I started fucking up and smoking weed and running with guys in that gang thing, the buddy stuff.
All right. Let's go back a little bit, because I'm gonna just guess, because you similar to, I follow your footstep a little bit. Who was the first woman, and how old were you?
Man, I can remember my first girl at 5 years old.
What?
I can remember my first girlfriend, shit. I was a king, man. I was born a king. Shit, I was first in my class. And all my teachers liked me. I had a way with women, man.
You had a girlfriend at 5?
Yeah, I had a girlfriend. I had 3 girlfriends at 5.
So when you get
and all of them look like my mama.
Even when you grew
I
up?
belong to that Huey Farston syndrome. I like them pretty yellow. Don't say it, don't blame him.
Ah, you like that? Look at
If they were high yellow,
you. You had to have 'em.
had to have them. Where you going, girl? Look at my mother up there, man, and my sister.
Hold on, folks.
Right to the right of the clock. That's my mother. That's my mother, and that's my grandson.
That's your mother right there.
Yeah, and that's my baby sister over there next to him. And that me is with my two little sisters.
All right, the one right next to your mama is your
grandson.
That's your grandson right there.
Yeah.
And right next to your grandson
is my baby sister.
is your baby sister.
Rosemary. She the one told me about my name. I didn't know it. She had went and saw my grandmother. And she came back. I was grown then. And she told me about my middle name. She asked me if it was my middle name. I told her I didn't have any because it wasn't on my birth certificate. She said, yes, you do have a middle name. I said, what is my middle name? She said, your middle name is King Solomon. I said, how you figure that? She said, because you named after Papa. And Daddy's oldest brother was named Thomas, but they didn't need the King Solomon on there. They left it out, his oldest son. So his wife named me.
Oh, okay.
After him.
Okay, King Solomon.
Yeah.
Thomas King Solomon Jones.
We called my grandfather Papa King.
Papa King?
Yeah.
Was he a Papa King?
Yeah, he was a Papa King, man.
If he said it, it happened.
He taught me hustling now, I do it. Shit, I'm him body and soul.
Oh, so you got all your hustling skills and all his from your grandfather?
From my grandfather. He showed me how. He was in
Mine's
the
too.
80s and 90s, man. And he'd take them cardboard boxes. We lived in a neighborhood. We lived in a neighborhood where they had a bunch of florists. And these florists would come in and they take these florists out of these boxes and throw them boxes out in the hall. My grandfather would go back there and get those boxes, tie them up, take them to the junkyard. He made as much as my father did in his 90s.
So he taught you how to deal with people?
When he couldn't do it, it wouldn't work, he had me do it. He taught me how to run the press, how to tie the boxes up. And they had push carts there. They build your own push cart, just like a wagon.
You have to build it yourself?
Many people complain outside of my mother dying. I had a beautiful childhood. If I had stayed in school, but that wasn't in my repertoire.
What happened at 17?
17, I went to the Navy.
At 17?
Yeah.
What day, give us all that, the day, the time. You remember what day?
Well,
what day?
It was probably after my 17th birthday. I was born in August, so I must have went in September.
Of what year, tell?
1947.
1940, September 1947 you went into the Navy.
Yeah, I went into the Navy because my father, I went home from school one day and I heard my baby sister crying when I was going up the back step. Get her out of here, get her out of here, get her out of here. She ain't my mama, she ain't my mama. My father done sneaked off and married my stepmother. You know, he didn't want us to know because every time a woman come in his life, we'd run her off. We didn't want nobody.
Wasn't nobody going to take mama's place?
No, wasn't nobody going to take her.
Not in that house.
Not in that house. I said, I ain't going to stay here no more. So I got told that and I went and joined the Navy. He let me join. And,
he signed for you?
Yeah.
Did she have to sign or just your dad?
They didn't have to sign. He just okayed it, whatever he did. And I went in the Navy, straight in the Navy. I liked the Navy.
Where did you train at and where did you go?
San Diego.
San Diego. And then from San Diego, what ship?
I came out here to San Diego. They shipped me right here to San Francisco, Treasure Island. And from Treasure Island, I went to Adak, Alaska for 2 years. I was a radio and communication. Yeah, man, I could have had every opportunity in the Navy if I could say. But by me drinking wine, I had started drinking wine and smoking weed.
And that was where? Where you started?
In San Diego.
That's where you started drinking the wine?
I started drinking wine in St. Louis, about in the middle of high school, about 14 or 15, probably an older guy. Drinking that wine and stuff. And then I started smoking weed.
All right, let's go back to that time, that 14 and 15. Did you ever, you know, with me, I know, you don't have to be specific, but with me, I know I had some extremely close ones. You know, that could, I was out there in them streets and I did some stuff, and there was some real close calls that you, okay.
I almost got 3 guys killed.
How was that?
Friends broke in a filling station. I was anxious to drive. And they had the truck in there. I wouldn't burglarize the things like that, man. I do little small things like jumping on the truck. But these guys, I got tempted and jumped in trying to drive a truck, couldn't drive shit, and almost killed 3 guys when the police got us. Police got out there. I was driving this truck, didn't know first gear from third gear. And they was running me up the alley. Lucky I didn't run in to kill somebody.
So that was the closest call?
Yeah. And that's when I came out and went into the Navy. Because I had messed up school. I had been in jail and everything. And then this come up with my mother, so I joined the Navy.
And you got sent to San Diego for training. How long did you stay in San Diego? How long is that Navy training?
4 months.
4 months?
Yeah. But what get me, I could have made it okay, but by me coming up in the ghetto, you might say, semi-ghetto then, I was started robbing them drunks. At 13 and 14, knocking them out, them drunks, and taking the money when they come in the neighborhood, board them and get a drink.
Did y'all have gambling shack back there?
Yeah, they had gambling.
Bootleg houses?
All that stuff.
Yeah.
Bootleg. Right there at East St. Louis, Illinois. Right, St. Louis. East St. Louis over there, and St. Louis is here.
Okay, so it's right there.
And every weekend, things close up at 12 o'clock on Saturdays in St. Louis, and everybody go to East St. Louis. It was like Chicago. It was like living in Chicago.
Okay.
It was a fast city.
Okay, now what we're going to do right here, we're going to pause. We're going to stop right here for the day. And this is leading all up until, but we ain't going to talk about what it's leading to. Folks, we're going to get there. And this is day 1 with Tom Jones. And more to come.
More to come. That's you doing it. You got